back with another video. So, in case you are wondering, it's been a few days. So Manchester United they drew against Fulham, but the amazing thing was that Edison Cavani got his first goal in front of the Manchester United fans. So that is pretty amazing in itself. Anyway, I'm gonna do a reaction now to a video by Tifo Football. Hold on, let me just raise my chair. So I call this video Norwegian Manchester United fan reacts to the big problem with Manchester United Stadium. So that I'm not sure what I'm going to hear about it, but from what I know so far is that it has stood there since World War II, and it has been bombed. So there was a time when Manchester City and Manchester United had to share a stadium for a while. But yeah, in this age the issue is more, in my opinion, about the Glazer family not investing in the stadium to repair it, because there are huge issues with it. So let's see what we get from this.
To try it now. In April 2019, in the early evening before the Manchester derby, a thunderstorm rolled over the city. Manchester United would lose 2-0. The game's enduring symbol, however, would be the torrent of rainwater which would leak through the stadium's roof ahead of kickoff and cascade onto the seats below. It was as a symbol of neglect and of how the biggest club stadium in England, once the envy of the entire country, has been allowed to deteriorate.
Damn.
But leaks were nothing new. Back in 2012, when Old Trafford was being used as a venue for that summer's Olympic football tournament, supporters had to dodge a torrent of water that rained down off the north stand ahead of the match between Spain and Morocco. The drainage issues have subsequently been fixed, but to many, these were embarrassing reminders of a lack of progress, of the Glazer family's failure to modernise the stadium.
Oh my God.
Actually to change much at all. The Glazers have owned Manchester United since 2005. But while the most recent upgrade took place in 2006, that project, which involved adding second tiers to the northwest and northeast quadrants and raising the capacity by 8,000, was commissioned and approved before the Glazers took control. It means that nothing significant has happened in over 15 years. It is made much worse by the fact that during...
So, 15 years, nothing has happened. Nothing has happened in 15 years. Wow. I'm sorry for me cussing at my keyboard. I was trying to pause it, but my mouse there was on the other screen, because I have two two computer screens, so it was basically on the other one. My bad for that. I'm sorry. Yeah, let's continue.
During the same period, a whole host of other clubs have opened new or improved stadiums. Arsenal have moved to the Emirates, Manchester City have significantly upgraded the Etihad, Liverpool have built a new main stand, and most recently Tottenham have moved into a state-of-the-art replacement for White Hart Lane.
Yikes.
And around Europe, Real Madrid are currently renovating the Santiago Bernabeu at a cost of 795 million euros,
Damn.
and although on hold, Barcelona have plans for an expansion to Camp Nou. Back at Old Trafford, complaints from fans focus on familiar issues. The poor quality of the concourses, the catering facilities, and the absence of a big screen. One of the key...
Yeah, this is huge issues. Like, I know that Glazers tries to Americanize the sport of football. That's what they basically care about, to make it as big as possible. But they don't care about the people that goes to the games. All they care about is making the money, and they basically don't allow the club to have any money for themselves to, for example, fix the stadium, or, for example, get new players in and other stuff.
Keys to the stadium's high capacity is narrow rows between seats, and while that might be an efficient use of space, many supporters, even those of a less than average height, complain of being uncomfortable during games. Some of the problems are much more embarrassing though. Old Trafford has also had a long-standing rodent problem. In 2015, health inspectors from the local council criticised the club for failing to implement adequate procedures to control pests within the food areas in the north and south stands, with the report also advising that all food rooms should be inspected for possible pest entry points. Other issues are logistical, certainly regarding expansion. The south stand has remained in much the same state for nearly 50 years. It's less noticeable to television audiences because the cameras point away from it during live games, but it's single-tiered and noticeably smaller than the other three sides of the ground.
Interesting.
However, upgrading is difficult. The stand backs onto a railway line, and so adding any extra tiers or developing it in any meaningful way would involve bridging over the track. Not an insurmountable problem, but not a cheap one to solve either. In December 2017, it was reported that the latest scheme to renovate and expand the South Stand had stalled over project costs of more than £750 million. As of May 2020, it was also reported that all expansion projects relating to Old Trafford were on hold. And there's
Wow. Yeah.
little financial necessity, or at least for bearing such cost. In the last season to be unaffected during the pandemic, United reported £110 million in matchday revenue, some way ahead of Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham and Chelsea. And the club also argue that they have committed significant funds to Old Trafford. In 2019, for instance, they pointed to £20 million worth of stadium investment, accounted for by £4 million on security upgrades, a further £4 to redevelop hospitality area.
Yeah, and now what they have done is basically just security, just because of the protest. They need stadium investments. That's what they need, and they need also hospitality. Well, about the team itself, they need new players because there are a select few good players that is getting pretty, well, they are getting older, so you need to get new players in, so you can have a better rotation to when you playing games, which has not happened really in the past. I don't know how long, but for example, at midfield, they're still stuck with Fred and McTominay at CDM, and yeah, a lot need to happen. Not just to please the fans with what players they get in, but more importantly of the treatment of the stadium itself.
Areas and 11 on improvements to make the ground more wheelchair accessible. Ahead of the 2018 season, they also refurbished both the home and away dressing rooms. But these are small changes. Fans continue to notice rust on the stadium. Photographers have often pictured mice that have run onto the pitch during games. And
what? Oh my god. Wow. That's crazy. Mice running onto the pitch. Well, that maybe it wants to play football. Who knows? I know I'm joking, of course, but man, rust. That can be quite dangerous.
And journalists remain frustrated by the outdated media facilities and the poor quality Wi-Fi. And that connectivity once caused a controversy between Paul Pogba and Jose Mourinho back in 2018. Mourinho reacted badly to an Instagram story posted on Pogba's account, which apparently showed the midfielder laughing after United had been knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Derby County on penalties. In fact, Pogba, who had been watching from the stands, had tried to upload his post an hour before, and the timing was just an awkward coincidence. Of greater concern, though, is the lack of future vision surrounding
So that was the whole thing? That was the main issue to that story? Man, that was not fair for Paul Pogba, in my opinion. Man, Jose Mourinho, I'm glad he's gone and Solskjaer took over.
Trafford. According to a source quoted by The Athletic in May 2020, that represents a change in attitude from the ownership. When the Glazers first came, they had the intention of rebuilding Old Trafford. They were desperate to buy up all the land around the ground, but they've given up on the stadium. That seems to be because of feasibility and the potential cost. And that's an added frustration. While United have spent millions of pounds acquiring property in the area, it has never been developed. In a less than flattering contrast with Manchester City, who boast the sprawling Etihad campus, United have no reserve or youth team mini-stadium and no...
Are you serious? Glazers, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, and I heard something about the women's team too. They can't even shower after the games, as example, because they have to walk X amount of miles just to do it. I don't know the whole thing, but man, this is so disrespectful. You are an owner of a football team.
Ground facilities, Retail Football, the most visible adjacent property, isn't owned by United, but rather in part by the group of ex-players known collectively as the Class of '92. So, what's next? Well, according to a Daily Mail article from February 2020, the current state of Old Trafford would be off-putting to potential buyers should the Glazers ever try to sell the club. And with Manchester United's estimated valuation at over £3 billion, there are likely to be very few of those to start with. But with the effects of the pandemic, the recent collapse of the proposed breakaway Super League, which promised a €3.5 billion windfall for the participating clubs, the most visible emblem of Manchester United's rich history doesn't seem likely to benefit from any major restoration soon.
So, do they need a new stadium? Restoration. Okay. Oh. Well, that was the video, the big problem with Manchester United. This got me honestly frustrated. I don't really know what to say, but I am disgusted with the treatment from the Glazers. Well, now I understand way more what the issue is. And Glazers, well, you can say in a way this summer is the last chance for the Glazers to prove how much they really care about the football club, instead of just hoarding in money and taking credit for other people. That is what they do, in my opinion. They basically, let's say the team has fought hard, blood, sweat and tears, just to make, take for example, just making the Champions League in top 4. They are currently at second in the league, so that's improvement comparing to last season when they finished third. But yeah, how much money Manchester United, the club, got to use on players alone? It's not much, because the money that's supposed to go for players, as for example, that budget was basically stolen from the Glazers to spend on themselves, basically like a new car or whatever. It is so disrespectful and offensive to the real workers, you can say, of Manchester United, like from the team itself to those who working in the team, like Solskjaer, who else? Everyone. I don't know, everyone. It's so disrespectful to what Glazers do to I am kind of speechless, because something is needed, something has to happen. And yeah, getting new players is not the only thing, but it is a huge part of like it's a huge part of what is needed. New players in, and for example, let's say you going to need to get new players. There are maybe 5 players in the age range of 32 plus years old. Like right now I'm not counting Cavani because he has only been in the team for 1 year. But I'm talking about players who are around that age, who has been there for say 5 years or something. It's crazy to me that there has been no update basically. But yeah, I'm gonna end this here. There is a match coming up. This there's a match coming this Sunday against Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it is the last game of the season. So I can't wait for that. Hopefully Manchester United can find a way to win. They have a hectic they had a hectic schedule the past few games because it was basically like a back-to-back, as they call it in basketball. But yeah, finally there was some time off, and it seems like Harry Maguire is coming back in time for the Europa League finals, which is May 26th. So there's that. Anyway, I'm gonna end this here. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah.